Have you ever stopped to think about how many times you tried to move forward, but something inside you simply wouldn't let you? How many times have you begun a spiritual journey, full of strength, full of promise, and suddenly, as if something invisible was pulling you back, you found yourself trapped in the same feelings, the same wounds, the same fears? Perhaps you've even blamed yourself, thinking you don't have enough faith, that you don't pray enough, that you don't put in the effort you should. But today I want to tell you something that can completely change the way you see your spiritual life. It's not a lack of faith. It's not a lack of discipline. What's blocking you could be an unhealed emotional trauma. Trauma is insidious because it doesn't warn you it's there. It doesn't appear in direct words, but in reactions. It hides behind sudden anger, unexplained sadness, the difficulty in trusting, the fear of loss. It reveals itself when you love, but can't believe you'll be loved in return. When you pray, but deep down don't believe God will truly answer. When you hear about hope, but feel like hope wasn't meant for you. And perhaps the hardest part is this. Trauma doesn't just hurt, it steals your vision. It makes you see yourself through the lens of rejection, abandonment, and loss. It creates a filter that distorts even the way you see God. Those who have been hurt by rejection begin to believe that even God can reject. Those who have been scarred by abandonment fear that even God will one day leave. Those who have been betrayed begin to doubt all promises, including eternal ones. And here's the truth no one likes to admit. We can raise our hands, sing, preach, serve, but if deep down there's an open wound that's never been touched by healing, the spiritual life will become a tiring, heavy, empty endeavor. Because you can't live the fullness of faith carrying a broken heart within you. Trauma is like an invisible chain, binding your soul and preventing you from running freely into God's arms. But here's what you may never have heard. God doesn't call you to ignore your pain. He doesn't expect you to pretend everything is fine. He doesn't want you to use faith as makeup to hide the scars. On the contrary, God is the one who enters the deepest place, the place you've never had the courage to open. The closed room of your soul where you've locked away the painful memories. He enters there, not to accuse you, but to restore. You might be wondering, why do I still carry this after all this time? Why, even after so many services, so many prayers, so many fasts, hasn't this pain gone away? The answer may be harsh, but it's liberating, because trauma doesn't disappear with words. It's only healed when it's brought into the light. What you hide doesn't disappear. On the contrary, what you hide grows. Trauma stored away becomes belief, and this belief shapes your life. If someone once abandoned you, you may start to believe that everyone will abandon you. If someone told you you weren't good enough, you may start to believe you never will be. If someone betrayed you, you may live believing that no one is trustworthy. And these beliefs, created by trauma, become like walls around your soul. Sure. Problem is, when these walls are up, even God seems distant. Not because he's far away, but because you can't see him without the distortion of wounds. You pray, but inside you there's a voice saying, it won't happen. You read promises of eternal love, but something inside you whispers, he can leave. You too. You believe in your mind, but you don't feel it in your heart. And that's why so many people become discouraged. Not because they don't love God, but because they try to live their faith on a broken foundation. Trauma also creates a cruel cycle. It makes you repeat stories. You wonder why you attract relationships that always end in pain, why every time you're about to experience something good, something happens to sabotage you. The answer lies in hidden beliefs. I don't deserve to be happy. No one will stay long. Things will always go wrong for me. These lies weren't planted by God, but as long as you believe them, it will be difficult to truly believe in his love. And here's a secret. Often, God doesn't answer a prayer the way you expect, because he doesn't just want to change your circumstances, he wants to heal your soul. He knows there's no point in opening doors for you if the trauma continues to make you believe you're unworthy of walking through them. He knows there's no point in bringing good people into your life if the wound will still make you doubt them. He knows there's no point in filling your hands with blessings if your heart still believes it's unworthy of holding them. Now I want to tell you something that can change the course of your story. Healing begins when you stop running away. It's simple and painful at the same time. Because facing pain is like touching an old wound. You know it will burn. But you also know that only then can it heal. Ask yourself today, what pain am I afraid to feel? What memory do I always try to bury? What word, what look, what abandonment, what loss still defines me? Because that's exactly where God wants to touch. Healing begins when you allow Him to enter the place you've most protected. And I know it hurts. It hurts to remember. It hurts to feel again. It hurts to admit that you're not as strong as you seem. But let me ask you, doesn't it hurt even more to live your entire life without experiencing the freedom that only the truth can bring? Doesn't it hurt more to carry invisible chains than to feel, for a moment, the pain that will set you free? Forever. The truth is this. You are not what happened to you. You are not the rejection you suffered, the betrayal you faced, the abandonment that marked you. Before all of this, God already loved you. Before the wound, there was a purpose. Before the pain, there was a promise. Nothing anyone did to you could change His love for you. So today, choose. Choose to stop running. Choose to surrender this pain. Choose to believe that there is healing for the soul, that there is life after trauma, that there is freedom after the invisible prison, because when you heal your soul, faith flows again. And when faith is true, nothing can stop you. It's not about praying more, but about praying truthfully. It's not about feigning strength, but about allowing yourself to be healed. God doesn't reject a broken heart. On the contrary, that's precisely where He pours out the most love. And when you experience this healing, you'll notice that everything changes. Your way of praying, loving, believing, and living. Because faith will no longer be a tiring effort, but a natural flow of someone who has been completely restored. Today is the beginning of something new. Because today you can choose truth. And the truth is that trauma doesn't define who you are. God does. And He says, you are loved, you are chosen, you are free. If this message spoke to you, if it touched a wound you knew needed healing, don't let it die here. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because together we will walk toward soul restoration. And if you felt God spoke to you today, leave an I believe in the comments. This isn't just a phrase, it's a declaration of faith.